Hi, I'm Shamiran Ibrahim. I'm the creator of the Belly Dancing from the Heart method, which is now used by, at current time of filming, more than 340 teachers of belly dance around the world, and the teacher training and certification of that program. It's been a privilege to be able to teach so many teachers of this wondrous and healing dance of the Middle East, of Middle Eastern women and girls. And over the years of teaching and being in contact with teachers around the world, and my colleagues who are industry leaders in our community, the common denominator across the board of what teachers report back from how the dance has helped them in their lives. And one of the main things it does is that basically it brings a woman, in a sense, out of her head and into her body. Now, this might seem like a small shift, but its effect, its butterfly effect on her life is huge. Living from the neck up is, at best, a joyless way of living, and at worst, a dangerous way of living. I used to live from the neck up in my 20s. I was literally cut off from my body. So I would think and think more about the thinking, and be really, really good at analytical thinking, and be really, really good at methodically organizing a project, and be fantastic at looking good and making everything on the outside look good. But on the inside, there was an absolute disconnect. But for me, it was absolute. So it went into the danger zone. It wasn't just simply sort of plodding along in life and kind of taking a small wrong turn here and a small wrong turn there, or maybe letting my health slip a little bit. Or, no, for me it was extreme. So I had a pattern of every 3 years. So every 3 years I'd have a major burnout. And when I say major, I'm talking emotional, mental, physical, absolute burnout. So I know what it's like to live from the neck up. I know what it's like to have the symptoms of being cut off from my feminine energy, from my soul, from my female body, from its needs. I know what it's like to have darned well near zero self-care. The burnouts were serious. They got progressively worse, and with the last ones, due to workaholism, basically. I was workaholic in corporate Australia, and then I became in corporate advertising, and then I became a workaholic in my own business. So patterns die hard, especially when we're not aware of them. One of the many symptoms that happen when we live from the neck up. We're not aware of what's not working for us, because the way we as humans, we connect with what's not working is through emotion. Our emotional guidance tells us if something's not working for us. But when we're not trained, and nobody really growing up through high school, primary school and high school. We get very little, especially my generation. So I'm 45 at the time of filming this. And, we didn't go through a schooling system that taught the whole child, and taught emotional intelligence and talked about feelings. And certainly there was not that type of parenting going on at the time either. So we came up through a time where there was a lot of disconnect, and the focus was much more still on thinking, on achieving, on accomplishing, being capable and being out there in the world doing things. And this concept of having an inner life and concept of focusing not so much on career, but then yes, succeeding outwardly, but focusing inwards as well, and going for a more quiet life or a less sort of big life really has only started coming in recently. And it's because there's a whole movement around the world towards feminine awakening. The journey from the head to the body cannot be intellectual. When we're heady, when we're spending much more time thinking than we are feeling, when we're spending much more time doing than we are being, when we're spending much more time in self-criticism and judgment than in self-care and self-love, when we're spending much more time unhappy with our body and being very mental about the way we think about our body instead of feeling our body and being inside of it and actually seated in it comfortably, and have enough tools to know what to do when emotions come up, how to carry really high emotions and kind of contain them and be comfortable feeling fantastic. So many of us are so comfortable feeling like crap that we actually kind of can feel slightly destabilized feeling joy. So even feeling joy is a skill. So feeling emotions, be them what we call positive or let's say feel good emotions, and more importantly for me really is what we call negative or not so nice feeling emotions or not nice feeling emotions. Understanding what in heaven's name emotions are, how they're actually generated, what's going on in the body, and what are they for? In nature, nothing is useless. So what are they for? These are all tools a woman needs in her toolkit to navigate life from a powerful position, not power over others. Powerful, quietly, humbly, authentically, truthfully, powerful position in her own power. Your power is in your body. We gain access. It's like a door bursts open to wisdom, to innate knowing, to guidance from what some people might call from above, from the spirit realm, from energy around us. I tend to be reticent to name it anything, because anytime you name something you start polarizing people. But there is a truth in the experience of millions of people on our planet where they'll be very clear that they're not thinking a certain thing. It is guidance, it is inspiration. The way in, the way to this is through the body. So really it's guidance from within. And when we're disconnected from our body, when we hate our body, when we don't look after it, when we're not listening or don't know how to listen to its messages, all of this disconnects us from our power. And we take wrong turns, and one wrong turn after the other, and we end up in a place where we're really just not happy with the way life turned out to be. It's really a journey of dropping out of the head into the body, getting comfortable with being in our body, getting comfortable and loving about our bodies and loving towards our bodies. And that is a process. It doesn't just happen. We don't go from body hate or body upsettedness or body criticism to body love. It takes time. It takes a process. It takes building of neural pathways. It takes a transformational experience. Belly dancing, as I said in the beginning of the video, is inherently within its movements, within its ancient sort of tools that are embedded in learning the dance. When it's taught with feminine awakening, when it's taught with holistic understanding, when it's taught with this very specific type of work, it really does facilitate this process. And that's exactly what needs to happen. A process needs to be facilitated, space needs to be held, tools need to be given to you for you to be able to successfully create lasting change in the way you connect with your body, the way you learn to love every part of it, and the way you really up your self-care to the point where it's just not negotiable. And that's when you start claiming your power, and that's when you learn to shine.